Yeah, it's a really hearty but quick tuna fish with za'atar. Now, za'atar is such a great spice blend, and it really is available everywhere. I'm just going to put some oil on this tuna fish.
Okay.
Now, the za'atar, it's a mixture of sesame seeds, cumin, no, not cumin, sumac, oregano, marjoram, and you can see all those little things. And the smell of it, it's so fruity and sweet. Okay. It's really beautiful.
Oh,
it's very Eastern.
Gorgeous.
Isn't it gorgeous, that? It's good on chicken, but it's great on tuna fish as well.
That's really... And it's easy to get hold of that?
Oh, yeah, it's everywhere. Right. It really is everywhere. I always say that, but it is everywhere. Yeah. So a bit of za'atar on the tuna fillets there, tuna steaks. Yeah. And you could do this with a different fish, you know, any sustainable fish is fine, but for me, tuna fish, it's a good meat alternative, isn't it, I think?
It really is, and it fills you up. Sometimes fish, I love fish, I really do, but sometimes it's not enough. It's
never enough, is it? Yeah. Never enough. Now, with a griddle pan, I always say to oil whatever you're putting on the griddle rather than the griddle pan itself, because that can, it can burn very, very easily, the oil, because it gets really, really quite hot. And this will only take a couple of minutes per side, if that. So I'm going to get some beans on the go as well, some fine beans or just green beans into the water there. And while that's all doing its thing, I'm going to sort out my dressing for the salad. Because it's not really a salad, there's not a lettuce leaf in sight.
No, I know, but we're saying salads, aren't we? But it's a bit more hearty.
A bit more hearty, but it's still very, very light and healthy. So in here I've got some Greek yoghurt. You can choose whether you go for full fat or low fat, you know, whatever you want to use. And I've got here some tahini. Now, this is just basically ground up sesame seeds. Right. And it's the key component in hummus with chickpeas. Oh. And I only need a tablespoon or so now, but it keeps in the fridge for a few weeks. And it's great on steaks, on pita breads and things like that. Or you could even have a go at making your own hummus.
Do you know,
it's dead easy to do.
Is it really?
Yeah, I mean, it's I wouldn't say it was fun. Yeah. But you know, it's a life experience making hummus.
Right now we can be so much more adventurous with food, and we have got more adventurous with it. I think we're very lucky.
We are. The world's a smaller place, isn't it, in general, with social media and whatnot, but also in terms of food that's been imported and ingredients and whatnot. I'm going to put a bit of runny honey in there for a bit of flavour. And then a little bit of lime juice as well, rather than lemon, just a nice couple of tablespoons of lime juice, just to make it, so it's not too sweet. I don't want it too sweet from the honey, because obviously honey is sugar, so you don't want too much of that. Right. So give that a good whisk. I'll use my little my pixie whisk for this. So it's a pixie whisk. The pixie whisk, it's cute, isn't it?
It's very cute.
Little pixie whisk. So give that a little whisk, just to get it all amalgamated and smooth. And a little pinch of salt and pepper. Like I always say, you should always season very lightly, but at every stage of the operation. Well, it's not really an operation, that sounds...
No, but I know what you mean.
You know what I mean.
I do know what you mean.
Quite off-putting, isn't it? I'm going to flip that tuna because it only takes a minute or so per side, as I said. So, and once it comes unstuck off the griddle... Oh,
that looks lovely.
It's beautiful. Look at that. The beautiful bar marks. It's great, isn't it? You can always sort of toss it around and do like crisscrosses if you want. Now, this is a great tip for any vegetable that you sort of boil. So broccoli, whatever you boil, cauliflower, you know. Because often when you take it out of the water, what it does is it sits there in the colander and steams. Right. And so it gets really soft and limp. Oh. Okay. And there's nothing worse than limp veg.
We don't like that.
We don't, do we?
No.
So what I do is I plunge it, for this, where I want it to be quite crispy, I plunge it into some ice water. So it's water with some ice cubes in. Okay. Really ferociously cold water. And what that also does is not only obtains and maintains that crunch, but it keeps the vegetables from going dull. It really makes it gorgeous and verdant and green. Oh, that's So it keeps it really beautiful.
But they don't get cold?
They don't get cold. Okay. They don't get cold. Well, no, they do get cold, sorry. They do get cold. I totally lied to you then. They do get cold, but for this salad, because it's a summer salad...
It doesn't matter.
I don't want it to be hot, because if you were to put the tahini on the hot veg, the tahini coagulates a little bit. It goes a bit funny and it's a bit mingy. So what I'm going to do... No, it's not good. I'm going to take these tuna steaks off now because I want a very, very gentle pink streak through the middle. Not too much, but a little gentle pink streak. So I'm going to pop those there. And as with any meat, I always say with fish, especially tuna steaks, you've got to make sure you let them rest. Because the residual heat will just finish the cooking process, but make sure it's nice and tender and delicious. And then that's pretty much it. I'm going to add some chickpeas to the salad. Right. So you can actually just toss it all together if you just chuck the chickpeas in. Fantastic. Just half a can, and make sure, give them a test with chickpeas, because you can get some, they're always cooked in a can, but you can get some that they're a little bit, tough. Yeah. And they sort of get stuck in your teeth, and it's not very palatable. No. So I'm going to mix the chickpeas in with the cold beans, and I'm going to assemble it, and we'll have a little fishy party.